Cool. Cool.
Gentlemen, welcome to the show. It is the Wexfield podcast, Barbells, Beats, and Buffoonery. And we're talking about barbells, but I have Greg and Frank from Hero Barbell with me here today. And I want to kind of get right into, letting you guys go into introduction and whoever wants to start off first, we'll kind of let you go from there. Kind of introduce yourself, and we're going to get into kind of the brass tacks of everything about what you guys are doing. So we'll get to all that stuff. But I got some fun stuff and questions for you. But go ahead and introduce yourself to the people and go from there.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, Frank's the quiet one of the group, so I'll let him get started.
Super quiet, and I can't believe you're actually letting me go first. This is crazy. 2 minutes or less, Wex. Frank Savarese. I had an absolute blast in getting this company started with Greg and Mike and Tony. But I was Naval Academy graduate. Played baseball in college. And decided to be a Marine out of the Naval Academy. Flew Hornets in my Marine Corps career for 20 years. Got to do a bunch of cool stuff. Deploy on carriers, TOPGUN graduate, all the things, right? Kind of checked all the boxes with my Marine Corps career. And met some really cool people in 2017-ish that sparked a different interest, and that we kind of made that interest a reality in 2020. So here we are, and I like to say I'm a full-time Hero Barbell employee. In my spare time, I fly for UPS now. It's
Nice.
It's kind of nice how that works out. But yeah, flying for UPS and doing Hero Barbell stuff, and just super pumped to be here. Thanks for having us, man.
Is Top Gun is Top Gun anything like what they show in the movie? Or is it
1000%? We actually had to memorize movie lines once we got there. That was like our first test.
I love it. Greg, man, that's a tough one to follow up. That's one of my all-time favorite movies.
He does a great job.
Yeah, he's got a killer background. Me and Mike would always joke because me and Mike are more like traditional business, and we would be hanging out with Frank. And we have another good friend named Frank who's like a sergeant on the police force, and they would be like exchanging these stories. And Frank would be talking about like chasing down this perp and like having to tase him and then jumping on top of him. And Frank's talking about landing on aircraft carriers at night and like gale force winds. And I'm like, I sent like 8 emails today, so that was like my day. But no, man, I was, I'm in tech. I'm been a tech entrepreneur pretty much my whole career. A little bit of a interesting background is like, I was like your tech nerd gamer kid, but also was like a 3-sport athlete in high school, ended up playing college football on a scholarship. So I kind of did that whole thing. But being a little bit older, I grew up in like a pre-internet era, but I knew that that's where I wanted to be and just tinkering around. So I've spent the better part of the last 20 years building software and heavy on the product side and getting involved in all these little crazy ventures. So the Hero Barbell thing, man, we wrote that story about it, or Frank wrote that story about it. I mean, it really was that. It was us sitting around and in a jacuzzi in the middle of COVID, drinking a couple cocktails and had a crazy idea. And Frank, being that kind of daredevil, like fighter pilot mentality, was like, yeah, man, let's do it. Let's take the risk. I'm all in. And he like called my bluff. So we're like, let's go. And then next thing you know, the company's off the ground.
Way too much to drink.
Way too much to drink.
So you both have sports backgrounds. I know Frank, your baseball, Greg, your football. What positions did you guys play in those?
I was a center fielder.
Okay.
Left-handed by nature. So I was either first base, pitcher, and my pitching debut ended very quickly in 4th grade. They threw me out of the infield and told me never to come back. So I stayed in the outfield for the rest of my life.
Nice.
Yeah, you can't tell in the video. So I'm pretty tall. I'm 6'4". I've been weighing about 215 for the last 18 years, whatever it is since I finished. But I played left tackle. So I played in college at like 295 pounds. I was a much bigger human being back in those days.
Yeah, usually when people leave football when they're playing on the line, they just drop all that weight.
They drop all that weight.
Yeah. Well, cool, man. And similar to you guys' story with, kind of the, trading stories back and forth. There's four of us who are friends of mine. One is a former Army Ranger. The
Nice.
other is a police officer, and me and the other guy's a tech guy, and I sell glasses to doctors' offices for a living. So
Yeah, there you
There you
go.
go,
it's
dude.
like, well, I drove to Miami. That was dangerous.
Yeah.
So that's kind of, the joke with our friends. They'll give us all these, cop stories and things like that, and we're just like, yeah, cool.
Yeah.
I,
I don't know
I
where to
went
go
to,
with that.
I went to the gym today and lifted a
Yeah, I
whole
was
bunch
on
of
like
weight.
2 conference calls. That was fun.
Yeah.
I mean, it always works out, right? My dad
Yeah.
always looked at me and just kind of turned away and said, the world needs ditch diggers too, and stealing lines from Caddyshack and shit. So
I love it. Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, my office is a Volkswagen Taos. Yours is a 747 Boeing, flying all over the world. So yeah.
It's different offices for different people. That's all I have to say.
Yeah. I love it. So,
Yeah.
we kind of alluded to, you guys are, doing, Hero Barbell. That's, I got Wad Zombie already jumping in here and talking.
Love
Yeah.
it.
Let's see. These guys are making a Colton barbell. That's all I
That's
need to know
right.
about them good dudes. Yeah, we're going to talk about sponsorships because I want to talk to you about the athletes you guys have because
Okay.
they're
Awesome.
phenomenal. But, let's kind of go back 2020, COVID, the world shuts down, everything's crazy. And you guys, instead of thinking, hey, I'm going to spend a couple $100 and, buy a barbell that I like and that I really want to use for a long time, I'm going to spend thousands of dollars and start an entire company. And
Tens of thousands of dollars. Yeah.
I was going on the small scale, but tens of thousands of dollars to not only just create a barbell for myself, but for the entire world. And then, the short story is piss off the largest, fitness giant in the world. So let's jump off
That
there.
may have happened. That may have
That
happened.
may have happened.
Alcohol. It's a beautiful thing.
It's a
Oh
beautiful
man, I
thing.
tell you what, yeah, this all goes back to this, this overserved kind of thing. But
Yeah.
no,
But you guys, so you guys start this company in 2020
Yeah.
off the back of just an idea. How does it go from, how do you even approach a subject like, yeah, I'm not going to buy a barbell. I want to go create a company and
Yeah.
build this and build something for not just myself, but for everybody.
Yeah, it's funny. The mythology is starting to grow. The more we tell the story, I'm starting to forget what's real and what's not. I think what was real, it was my idea. I did come up with the original idea, and I really was like inspired by the Dollar Shave Club model. We were all CrossFitters. We'd been doing it forever and ever and ever. We were going to the same box together. At least me and my other partner were, and Frank was a member there previously. And so we understood the sport, and we were into it. Things shut down. It was such a big part of our lives. It was like, well, what do we do? Right? Our box shuts down. We have nowhere to go. So it goes into like home gym building time. And we're starting to trying to buy equipment. It was hard to buy equipment at that point, and started to learn a little bit more about the equipment market. And, one of the things that it really was kind of a little bit frustrating. I know this is like cliche, but it was like, all right, we understand the difference between a bushing bar and a bearing bar. And for anybody out there that doesn't understand, because it's kind of a little bit of a technical thing, a bushing is like, if you imagine like a toilet paper roll, right? Or like a paper towel roll. If you just got the little cardboard piece and you put it on like a broomstick, like it'll spin, but there's friction. It's only going to spin so well. Where like bearings is like the old fidget spinner, right? Like you hold the fidget spinner. And that
oh,
thing
nice, good
forever.
dude.
I was gonna say my first job was at a roller rink.
Yeah.
And the
I knew it.
inline skates had the bearing wheels. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, in CrossFit, I mean, if you're in any Olympic lifting, you know the spin's important, right? It's not a linear movement. You got to get under the bar, whether you're doing a snatch or clean, and that extra friction, especially when you start to put some real weight on it, like makes a big difference, right? So it's important that like you have these bearing bars, and then there's things like the thickness of a bar, right? IWF standards 28 millimeters, you know, and a lot of the cheaper bars out there were 28.5. And I hated it when I worked out myself, like that thicker bar in my hand, it just felt so unnatural doing workout. So we're like looking at the bars we want, and they're all like $500, and like the $300 bars are just like the lower level things. We're like, dude, we can do better than this. And like that Dollar Shave Club, the model was like, is the Dollar Shave Club the best razor in the world? Maybe not. Maybe it's as good as the $8 Gillette, but objectively, it's a lot better than that current blue Bic that they had at the time. So we were just like, let's do the same thing with barbells, man. Let's build that $500 barbell, but let's do it in a way that we can offer to people for under $300. And that was like the initial idea. And then, of course, it spiraled, and we've iterated 1,000 times since then. But that's kind of how it all started.
Yeah. And Frank, kind of your take on the other side. He gives you this idea, and it's just
oh man, I'm, you know, from coming from someone without like any hint or knowledge of business or entrepreneurship or anything, right? You know, it's just a guy that can have a good time and tell a tall tale. And so Greg pitches this idea, and I don't know whether it was his salesmanship or whether it was like the atmosphere or all of the above, but something just like grabbed me. Maybe it was like at the time I just resonated with the frustration, right? Yeah. And honestly, that was really what it was for me. Is just like he said, our gym is kaput. You know, and as we start to build out our garage gyms individually, you realize the frustrations of actually looking in a market that just was completely swamped with every you know, red-blooded American male and female that enjoyed fitness. Was they're probably doing the same thing at this point, you know, in history. So you combine all of that emotion into like one thing, and when Greg said it, like the nerve, the you know, the synapse just fired, and I was like, yes, and it's got to be this, and it's got to be that, and you know, and Greg kind of like jumped back. He's like, holy, you know, crap, man, I might be onto something here, and then Mike, you know,
Mike, can say shit, by the way, it's okay.
No, totally right.
I caught the edit. It's okay.
I love it. You can say these words. It's fine.
It's fine.
No, I appreciate the permission. But I tell you what, you know, it was right there, and right then, and we laugh at the whole story too, because, you know, it was like the next day, Mike and I are actually neighbors. We have to actually drive to get to Greg's house, but Greg's house is very nice, and we want to drive to Greg's house, so we do it.
Gotcha.
So Mike comes over the next day, and we're hitting a workout, you know, and then he calls us like in the middle or towards the end of it or whatnot, and we get on the phone. He's like, so, you know, I took a look at a lot of options. This is what I think we need to do, and I've already reached out, and like we got a couple of demo bars coming out, and you know, Mike and I just looked at each other like, dude, I think we're doing this.
Nice.
You know, you better get more than like $500-800 together, because I think we're actually starting something here.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, it took off and went from there. So I mean, it was again, coming from somebody with no business background, super fun. I have learned so much in such a short period of time. About something that I honestly, I didn't think that I would ever get a chance to learn or do. And you know, it's like, I'm having such a great time. Even with the disruption,
Yeah.
Like
Well,
it's been awesome.
so how do you get to the point where it's like, okay, yeah, I want a barbell, but I have no idea how to manufacture. I have no idea how to, make it. I don't know what makes a good barbell as far as like the technical aspects, the
Right.
engineering aspects of it. How do
Yeah.
you go? How do you make that jump? Do you reach out to people that have already done it,
We
or how did that kind of come about?
Yeah, I mean, like all of the above, Greg, right? I mean, we started really kind of nugging down on tech specs, it was like, oh man, we quickly have to become like the experts. I mean, if we're even gonna start a company, a barbell, a fitness, a lifestyle company, um, we really got to kind of know what we're talking about a little bit. So we
Yeah.
really we dove right into it, and just started doing research and pulling up with experts in the field, talking with engineers, learning about tensile strength and and then taking a look at like what's currently on the market. We're like, okay, then that's too much. This is too little. We're try and find a solid in between ground. And then again, Greg's discussion with the bearings versus the bushings, and we knew we wanted to obviously spec it as close to IWF as possible. We put barbells in our hands for decades at this point, so we're like very very comfortable with the product itself. But we didn't, we really kind of took a couple of minutes to really tweak what we actually wanted, right?
Yeah. I mean, I would say look, there's a lot of technical aspects of the barbell. There's a lot more technology in it than I think the average person would think about. But we're also
Yeah.
not designing, electric vehicles, right? Like it's still a barbell. And we'd all been like really avid CrossFitters. I've been working out for 30 years in my life, right? And, did CrossFit for 10 before the company started. We'd all had, $1,000 Leakio bars in our hands. We've all worked out with them. We all knew what we liked. We all went to boxes where people had their custom bars. So, I think we all went into it with this idea of like, what would be our perfect bar, and
Yep.
we always joke like, this was always kind of a for us by us type of company. Like the decisions we made along the line were like, let's just come up with stuff that we think is cool. And if
Yeah.
we think it's cool, hopefully other people think it's cool. So, things like Cerakote and bearings and the thickness of the bar and the tensile strength, like, this stuff. We've all worked out. You want to
Yeah.
make sure you have a little bit of flexibility and spring in your bar when you lift it up to help you get those heavy snatches on. You want something that's kind of fun and cool, right? Like when you go to the quiver when you're about to start your wad, like you kind of want to take a little pride in grabbing your bar. So we wanted to create a little bit of a personalization aspect. So there was just a lot of us, honestly, just gut feel being like, is this cool? Yeah, this is cool. Okay, well, other people will think this is cool. And if they don't, who cares? We think it's cool. So let's move on.
I love it
And
because I have a bar at my gym and it's black just like everybody else's bar, and I tried to make it look a little bit different by like putting stuff on it to so people know that's my bar, not everyone's bar.
Yeah.
I'll come in the morning, it's caked in chalk, and I'm like, what the hell, guys, come on,
it's a white bar.
this one's
It's a white bar,
mine,
not a black bar.
exactly. So yeah, like but still, like I want my bar, like I want to go and grab my bar and use it, and it's nice to have something that is yours,
Yeah.
especially going to gyms like we all have. You go in and so I've been at gyms where there's like the nice bar and then all the other community bars,
That's
and
right.
you're all fighting
Yep.
over getting the one bar that's got the better spin, and
Nothing worse than being a little late and getting the community bar. And you're like, oh. Yeah.
Thankfully the gym I'm at is fairly new, so all the bars are pretty pretty
Okay.
even and equal across the
Yep.
board. But yeah,
Yep.
so you guys, you branch out, you start with barbells, you've kind of evolved a little bit from there, and you're doing some more things as far as equipment and stuff like that, and offering new things. But with what we talked about at the front of this, obviously the giant elephant in the room is a large company that has, I think when I checked, 2.6 million followers on
Yeah.
Instagram.
Nike? You're talking about Nike?
Yeah, no, yeah, we're totally talking about Nike.
Yeah.
The other elephant in the room, which I think they have a
Oh,
name. I think they have a bar named after that, actually.
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah. Good
um,
call.
so when I checked, I think Rogue had like 2.5, 2.6 million followers.
yeah,
I think when they originally, when the whole thing came down, and I'm kind of skipping over things, but your social media got shut down. And I
Hmm.
yeah,
think at the time you guys had, I think like right around 5,000 followers at the time.
yep, yeah. We had just surpassed it. The number was near and dear to my heart. I think we were at like 5280. I don't know. Don't ask me how I remember, but I took I took that social media platform from what, Greg, 3, 4 followers like us basically, and I mean, just kind of morphed it into what it was. So I was like, I was literally, it was August 3rd. It was day one of individual CrossFit and team and individual games competition.
Yep.
And all I was doing was logging on to wish the athletes best of luck in Madison, and couldn't find the account. I was like, guys, something's wrong with our social. We reached out to our one of our partners in the business. We're like, hey man, can you guys help us out? We're having an issue with digital and social right now. We can't access the account. It took us 2 weeks dealing with just awesome customer service. Yeah, we'll just leave it at that. 2 weeks to the day even just to figure out who or what happened and who did this.
Yeah.
There was, it was just, you woke up and the account was just completely disabled, with no warning, with no anything. So you can imagine the frustration there. And I'm sure if I was an athlete sponsored by Hero and all of a sudden, my team just kind of disappeared off the face of the earth, when I was used to all of this, rah rah, pump them up on social and everything, I would also be wondering, like, what the heck, what just happened?
Yeah.
Yeah. So after a couple weeks, we finally get a response from Meta pointing us to an attorney. The attorney sends us this formal complaint. Apparently, and this is the thing. The company we're talking about, obviously, we know who they are.
We can say it. It's okay.
Yeah,
it's Rogue. Yeah.
It's Rogue.
Yeah. There's articles about it. We know.
Right.
We never, there's no like Rogue with like a target on them in like the Hero war room. Like, we never looked at Rogue as like our huge competitor. How do we beat Rogue? Like, I mean, beyond the fact that they're the 800-pound gorilla on steroids, like, it just, we didn't look at Rogue ever like that. We just looked at ourselves as a small, company of a bunch of guys that were creating a cool product that we thought people would enjoy. And, we obviously are business people, but like, we would post stuff all the time with Rogue plates on. We didn't make plates. We at the time didn't make them. We didn't think anything of it. In a way, it's marketing for Rogue. It's like positive marketing. Like, hey, look at us showing our cool pictures, and here's also Rogue in the background of this. Like, we didn't even think twice about it. We weren't trying to tell people we were Rogue or make people think we were Rogue. I guess we're a competitor to them. So then when we essentially get shut down because Rogue complained that, in a couple of the images that were posted, the person working out just happened to have Rogue plates on a Hero barbell. That was a little surprising. And then the second part of the complaint, which as we've found later, we were not the only ones. So a Rogue apparently holds like 150 patents, give or take. I don't want to get sued here. So it's roughly that website. Yeah. I don't know how they've acquired all these patents, whether they're theirs themselves or if they've bought patents. I'm not sure. Once again, don't want to get sued. But I do know that from other people who have contacted us, they are actively going after any company out there that infringes on their patents. So
very active
competitors out there that have reached out to us now on the side, basically being like, Rogue contacted you too. They're contacting us, cease and desist. So our letter, and I'll just be open because this is all public, they didn't just say that we had to cease and desist on the little rubber band on our Barbell, but they asked us to send them all their financial data that we've had since the history of our company.
Cool.
Right? Like that. And then we've also found out from some of the competitors out there that they've also raised the same letter. So I don't know what's going on, man. We've always had a lot of respect for Rogue as a company. They're doing what they're doing. We're gonna bounce back. We're gonna adjust. We're gonna continue to do what we're doing. We found the whole thing a little bit distasteful, and we just felt like the story needed to be told. We need to tell people like what happened.
And I also feel like at the end of the day, it's kind of they put the cart before the horse. It's like, oh yeah, we're gonna shut them down, and then we're gonna send a cease and desist letter. Why don't you send the letter and allow us to
give us a chance
first?
Yeah,
give us a chance.
Give us a chance to address the problems that you have, dude. I reached out to Bill Henninger myself. Just, hey, let's discuss this man versus, like just man to man and business owner to business owner, and like take the whole law side out of this. Like, dude, tell me your beef, and guess what? We'll fix it. We will absolutely fix it. Like we're a young company trying to make it in this space. And it's something that I talked about with Julia too, who wrote the article about us on Morning Chalk Up. I am 100% a believer that these companies, sure, they're competitors in the fitness space, but like all of us can completely coexist symbiotically, and to paraphrase from another owner that reached out and contacted us, it's the person who owns a Hero bar probably owns a Rogue bar too, probably owns a different company's bar, probably has plates from somewhere else. I mean, like, come on, man, give me a break to actually, I don't know. There's a lot of thoughts in my head still, after it's been obviously a couple months since we received the letter, and no response from Bill, by the way, is unfortunate, but I got nothing, man. Like we're regular people trying to make it in the space. Let me know what your issue is, and we'll absolutely do our best to fix it.
And you also have to look at how much of it is it their higher ups, or is it somebody in the legal department who's really just wanting to do their job and kind of show, hey, yeah, I did this and this and this and this.
Sure.
Like you said, if you got in a room with Bill, I'm sure probably you guys could talk it out, have a couple beers, everything be fine, and and get things fixed. But hey, I mean, there could always be that down the road, hopefully. But
totally right.
All that to say, so 2 months has been 2 months since the games. What, August, September, October. 3 months.
Close to it. Yep.
So looking at your account now, free, and if you're not following, free Hero Barbell.
Yeah,
on
there
Instagram.
You go. Good plug.
Is at right around 6,700 followers.
Yeah.
So you've now gained an additional 1,700 or 1,500 since the lockout.
Little bump.
Turn lemons into lemonade.
That's right.
Absolutely. So what are some things that you would say? I mean, obviously this is a lot of negative things that have happened, but what are some positive things that you've taken from that to kind of turn this around and make it a success?
I think it lit a fire under all of us. To be honest with you, in a weird way, it was like a badge of honor to be on their radar. Right. Because we're just this little, small little company, this group of guys that are running this thing. And, we believe in it and we're proud of what we've done. And we obviously, had a little bit of success along the way, but then was like, okay, we're obviously ruffling somebody's feathers. And to your point, Wax, it very well could have just been the legal department, right? These guys are paid to basically go out there and do it, but it didn't matter to us. We looked at it as an advantage. So, I think it was like one step back. We just being legal here. We don't agree with their infringement claims, but we were not going to sit there and fight the gorilla. So
Yeah.
we went back, and I mean, dude, it cost us a crap ton of money, man. We had to go back and retrofit shit ton of bars to change the collars on them and to do the different things that they asked us to do. We removed any image ever that had anything to do with rogue plates and all that stuff. So we're in compliance with what they asked us to do, and we did it immediately. So rogues attorneys hear that.
And we made our own plates. We made our own plates now.
But now we designed some badass
plates.
Yeah.
You weren't going to make plates, but
and we're doing this stuff, right? Like we're talking to people like you. We want our story to be heard. We believe in this company, man. Our aspirations for what we want to become as a company probably went up a lot, and the time and the effort and the work we're doing as a crew has gone up. So we're growing, man, and things are going in a really positive direction. So I think this, if anything, was a catalyst for us to really understand, like, okay, we're doing something right if people are coming after us, and it allowed us to tell our story. And as we've told our story, so many people have resonated with us and the brand and the people behind it and what we're trying to do. So it's been really positive.
Yeah.
That's the best part about it for me was just like the moment the story hit. I mean, you just see the outpouring of support, just, from the community, from the guys that like and girls that we started this company. It was like those were just. Those are us, man. That is our community. That's Hero Nation right there. Just the reaching out and going, hey man, I'm on Team Hero, and I'm with you guys for the long run. And it was just super, super cool to watch. And just like, that letter, basically, I was like Robert Frost, like two roads diverge in a yellow wood, and you're like, oh, which one, which way? Guys could go one way, guys could go the other way.
Yeah.
And we could have very easily just, laid down and acquiesced. And I think that kind of speaks to the character of the founders of the company too. Like that's just not who we are. We're fighters. This is why we created this company. This is on any given day and a crap ton of pre-workout. Like we could probably give a 20-something athlete a run for their money. I'm not saying we'll beat them, but probably give them a run for the money. At least make them like get scared a little bit.
Listen, we had a workout this morning that was like right up my alley, and I was like, all right.
There we go.
I'm not going to be there, but today, this morning, this class.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Absolutely.
And you wonder how many companies have actually gone through this, but taken the easier road. I don't say easier road, but just taken it's rogue. I guess we're just going to go ahead and, take our toys and go home.
Right.
Whereas you guys decided, no, we're going to go ahead and keep fighting for this because obviously we're doing something.
Yeah.
Before, obviously you said you have some games athletes, and, we alluded to, you guys are working with Colton Mertens, Andrea Nisler. Who are some other athletes, and how did those partnerships kind of come about? Like you're a startup company from a hot tub and a little bit of alcohol, and all of a sudden now you have games athletes.
It was so now we intro our fourth our fourth partner, Tony Cones. Tony was the one who introduced us to Andrea. Tony himself was a games athlete, and then after he was a games athlete, he coached games athletes. But him and Andrea had a previous relationship. Back from Minnesota, he moved out to California and got his hands on a Hero bar, and I mean, we're having coffee, probably 2 weeks later. Just kind of like actively found us out. He was like, "Hey, man, just like Greg and Mike and I believed in the company. He became an instant believer, and he started pitching us this stuff and got us." got us a phone call with Andrea, and Andrea was absolutely on board. The timing for her couldn't have been better because she had just joined Rich's team. You know, that was her first year on Mayhem, and to be able to watch her, you know, kind of compete with her partners and at the same time spec out her bar and design a barbell around her. I think, you know, that was a nice little catalyst for us too, as a young company that, and Tony was like, mark my words, man, she'll win. Anything that she's competing in, that girl is going to win. She's got a fire. And to us, that resonated with us as well, right? And like that just sounded like Andrea belonged, like she was destined to be with Team Hero from the start. So yeah, I mean, it was awesome. We created you know, we sat down, we had plenty of conversations of where, you know, where her barbell needed to go, and you know, threw 2 prototypes her way. She's like, I like them both. I was like, oh, I guess you can have both because you're our future athlete, right?
Yeah.
So right there, you know, the Nissler bar was born. And once Andrea came on board, then every, you know, kind of slowly but surely, people are starting to come out of the woodwork. A lot of we have a lot of athlete ambassadors that punch their ticket to semifinals. They're like right there, you know, kind of dark horses on the verges of being discovered. Natalie Thompson, James Lewis, to name a few. I really and truly believe that you know, with the right push, those guys, they're right there competing for the games. And then you know, just due to our relationships, we're able to link all of that together and form a connection with Colton. And I looked at Greg, and you know, Greg will tell you, Greg's very modest. He'll tell you he's out of the, you know, he's like out of the CrossFit game and doesn't know the names of the athletes anymore. Since Matt Frazier retired, he was like kind of just, you know, put his head down and Matt, you know, but I pitched Colton, and I you don't even need to pitch Colton. Colton sells himself, right?
Oh, absolutely.
And I mean, I just started to pitch, and Greg's like, I don't need to hear anymore. I'm in. We want, like, get him on board. Do what we need to do. So it was a very easy decision. We see Colton just like we see Andrea. You know, he's going to do amazing things in the community because of who he is as a person, and we're pumped to be able to support him. And from Wad Zombie too, I'm telling you right now, we have the artwork, at least the specs for his signature bar already. And dude, pumped. Like just
badass.
Just looking at the regular, it's gonna be great. It really is.
I love it. Is there a timeline of release for that, or is it, you know, just kind of when it comes about?
We're targeting first quarter 2024.
Nice.
Yeah, that's what we're targeting.
So you guys, you know, obviously you guys got the, you know, plates coming. You've got a new bar coming. Yeah. So you guys just did release something on your Instagram talking about Rebellion bar. Is that a separate bar, or is that just like a colorway, or what's the deal with that? So
there were a lot of females that were very not upset. Upset's not the right word. Jealous is also not the right word. They wanted a white bar. They wanted their own white bar. Lots of Star Wars enthusiasts out there. They really loved our spin, you know, on the Empire bar. They wanted a 15 kilogram version.
Okay.
And Greg, being Greg, you know, gives the ladies what they want. Like that's who he is. He's a crowd pleaser. He's like, bro, we gotta get a white bar out there.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was funny, like how I wanted to go a different way and Greg's way was obviously the right way. I wanted to do an R2 bar.
Okay.
And Greg was like, no, man, that's not like, he's a robot. I'm sorry. He's not going to sell. Like, think about like Ray and Rebellion. And I was like, oh my God, I'm in. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Well, this is the ironic part, right? I actually did do a little research on this because look, we're talking, the Empire bar, the Rebellion bar, like Rogue's big, but Rogue's minuscule next to that, Disney's team that owns all that IP. So it's kind of funny because believe it or not, there isn't an actual trademark on on a couple of those different logos. Like the R2, you couldn't do R2. That you're going to.
I was going to ask about the stormtrooper helmet.
But the stormtrooper helmet is actually not a trademark because they said it was too common of a design or something to that extent. I forgot what it was legally. And the same with the Rebellion logo. So we were able to use some of the artwork that we were able to use in the Rebellion bar and in the Empire bar. We would not have been able to do that if we did an R2 bar. The idea behind an R2 bar is awesome. Like the colors, the white and the blue, and it would have looked really cool. But isn't it kind of ironic that we're able to use the Empire bar and a Rebellion bar and we're fine, and we post a picture of an athlete using Rogue plates and we're getting sued? We didn't get sued. We got to cease. We got to cease and desist. We didn't.
How dare you? How dare you use our products in the ways they're supposed to be used?
Oh man.
So, what is kind of some of the next steps that you guys have? I mean, obviously, like we said, you're putting out plates, you're putting out new colorways and things like that for the barbells. What are there other things on the horizon that you guys are trying to do? And I'm going to go ahead and pitch something here. So I have a 10-year-old daughter, and she is an avid CrossFitter. And what she's found, I mean, she's almost to the point where she's out of using the training bar completely. But she'll deadlift with a women's bar and things like that. But the trainer bars, the diameter of the grip is so big for a 10-year-old, she can barely grip it. If it were a 15-pound bar with a smaller, with a smaller diameter, it would go so much further. And with everybody coming up in the sport so much younger now, have there been thoughts of doing maybe like a youth bar or a training bar that's lighter but with a smaller diameter to fit, kids?
Yes, absolutely. Yes. And that was, dude, like you're reading, we have, again, Greg says, yes, I have all these ideas, right? It is true. We have so many, we have lots of projects on drawing boards, on R&D, shorty bar, training bar, definitely one of them. I love the youth spin on that training bar too, X. I mean, that's it sounds like you just got your own custom barbell.
I've got your first kid you can sponsor.
There you go. It's perfect.
She's been CrossFitting since she was 4. So
dude, good for her, man.
Yeah, she's been competing since she was 4 in CrossFit and gymnastics, and she's got a 75 pound clean and jerk, 145 pound deadlift. So she got to a point. She got to a point where the training bar she couldn't use anymore, because you can only load so much weight on it.
Right.
But the diameter of the women's bar was a little bit too heavy for some of the things that she wanted to do, like snatching and stuff like that. So she'd have to go to some sort of, like there's the 5 pound like super trainer bar, which has the smaller diameter, but you can't put any weight on it because it's got no collars. So it's like all these little things. It's like, man, with such a big youth movement that's coming of, these younger athletes coming up, I don't know that I've seen really anything on the market for youth. So that's the pitch, man. That's the
man. And the pitch is awesome. And I'm going to throw a counter pitch, like right back to the audience too, is like we're doing an investor round right now, for things just like what you mentioned, Wax. So, I mean, we have got to a point where, we know we've made a conscious decision that we have to grow, in order to support the all of the projects, support the constant inventory, all of the things that we want to do as a company, and unfortunately, like for us, like we self-funded this thing, right? I mean, it's just all of our money. We take $0, and every single cent of the company goes to our athletes, our sponsorships, our affiliates, and products, to keep the customers and keep the rest of Hero Nation happy. So that's really where we're at right now, is this investor round, where trying to raise funds to promote just what you're talking about. I would love to have more barbell options on the market, like tap into the powerlifting community as well, right? I mean,
Oh yeah.
everything is very functional fitness based right now. I would love to branch out into the powerlifting community. I would love to do a shorty bar. I'd love to do a training bar. I'd love to do a youth training bar. I mean, yes, to answer your question, absolutely yes.
I love it.
What do you think of the plates, Wex, so far from what you've seen?
I've seen the 45. I love them. Yeah. I love the prototype. I mean, it looks great. I love the design of it. I mean, it's cool. I don't know, what you guys are going to do as far as, colorways and things like that, but I mean, there's so much fun you can have with it. Especially with designs and things like that, similar to what you talked about. It's like, there's so much stuff that is actually like free reign, that you can, kind of access and play around with one. And this is just because I'm a Marvel fan, but somewhere out there, and I don't even know who has them. I think it might be on it, is the Captain America plates.
Oh, dude.
And I'm like, dude, I don't care if they weigh 5 pounds. They're dope. I love them, so somebody has them, but stuff like that, where you can kind of play off of that with the hero, and be able to kind of, have some fun with it.
Plate snacks. We're gonna talk after this. Plate snacks.
Nice.
Yeah,
I love it. So what are there any like big check mark things that you guys are aiming towards in the next? Obviously you guys are probably going quarter to quarter of kind of checking off goals and things like that. Is there a long term, like 5-year goal that you're like, hey, this is where we definitely want to be? Or is it just take the little victories at this point as it comes? What is kind of the big, the big game at the end of this?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think we're, as Frank said, I mean, we're in a really cool situation, right? We've built a brand that has resonated with people, which we always hope to do, and I think it was that kind of for us, by us, like, let's build product that we think is cool. Let's be honest and authentic with ourselves. Let's have our voice represent who we are. And a lot of people like it, and maybe, probably not for everybody, but there are enough people out in that market that have seemed to say, hey, these guys are cool. I like this. I want to support the product. I want to buy their stuff. Right. So that's there. We're profitable as a company. We actually make money. As Frank said, we just invest all of our money back into the company, but like the unit economics, to get like technical in it, like they're all positive. Like we make money, like we profitably sell bars. Right. So for us, it's like, let's build on what we've built. We want to start to expand our product lines. We want to continue to stay tight to the industry. We want to get deeper into the industry. I think functional fitness is where we started, and it's kind of where a lot of our hearts are. But there are opportunities in powerlifting in some different areas. Expanding our product lines without diluting ourselves. I don't think we'll ever be like a Titan, which is just like you can go there and buy everything, right? Like anything you want, you can buy there. Like I don't see that's who we're going to be. I think we're going to pick and choose product lines, plates, barbells, belts, accessories, and I think we're going to try to build really, really good products. Like that's so core to who we're at. It's like, let's build as good of a product as we can. Let's offer it at a price that kind of undercuts maybe some of the main competitors, and let's do it with a little bit of a flair, right? Kind of like what you talked about. Like let's hit the style points. Let's do it a little bit quirky. Let's have some of our personality come out. I think that's who we are, and I think for us, it's just a matter of continuing to double down on what's got us to where we got to.
I love it. I saw the Navy bar. Where's the Marine Corps bar?
So the red, our red bar is actually the Cerakote name for it is it's USMC Red, which
nice.
I thought that was super cool.
My brother's Marine Recon. So
we talked about that initially, right? When we first started reaching out.
The Recon bar is actually a kind of a cool name for a barbell.
Yeah.
And again, because of this investing round, we talk about like growth and strategy and grandiose ideas and all of that good stuff. I am there are moves in place with a certain community within the military that I continue to try and stoke that fire to see if I can to see if I can get the company in with that particular community, because I'm very close to that community. I have supported that community for 20 years of my life as a fire supporter. And I have a lot of friends within that community that have left that community that are still close, etc. Right. I want nothing more than to try and continue to give back, just like those brave men and women continue to do so. They give back with up to and including their life. Mm-hmm. So that's something that's kind of personal to me. So we'll put that one on hold. Mike jokes, by the way, just as an aside, Mike jokes with me that the Go Navy bar is thanks for doing it in Notre Dame colors. I was like, those are not Notre Dame colors. Those are Naval Academy colors. Please understand the difference.
For sure.
Yeah, for sure. Right. but yeah, no, hopefully, things will manifest to where we get some pretty cool customization there. And we'll just, we'll kind of leave that one at that right now.
Yeah. And that's awesome. Like I love all that stuff about like customizing bars, and like, I'm one of those people, I guess I can be kind of vain when it comes to that kind of stuff. I'm like, I want it to look a certain way. I want, I want things, I want it to look cool. I want it to be different. I want it to, not be the same as what everybody else is using.
Exactly.
Because it's just fun. Like my gym owner has a American flag bar, and he's that's
the Rogue Freedom Bar or whatever.
Yeah, I think so. But he's had it forever. Like
hats off to you, Rogue. It's a dope bar.
Yeah, it's a dope bar. But yeah, no, he's had that thing forever. Like the flag's almost wearing off. Like he's when you can snatch almost 300 pounds, like well,
there you go.
He's good. He's a good coach. But yeah, like I love the customization aspect of it, and like everything that you're able to do with it. And I think that's gonna be a lot of fun. That gives you so much potential to do things in the future. Like you said, with plates, with barbells, and any other equipment that you decide to jump in on. I mean, you could have picked something easier like dumbbells. I mean, don't need a spin, don't need anything.
Dude, don't even get us started on that. It's like we kind of look at each other, and me especially, like new to the business world, logistics and shipping and all of the things. It was like, hey, let's pick like the hardest thing to ship, and let's make that.
I was gonna say, let's be honest, Frank. The reason you're on board is you get a discount for shipping, right?
Nope. Nope, not at all.
Well, and we ship 47 for Boeing
too. That's the best part about it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So come on, do I get an employee discount for shipping?
Oh, dude. I tell you what, the UPS store by my house when we send, a lot of the just the personal stuff out.
Yeah.
He looks at me sometimes. He's just like, man, the delivery guy is not going to be happy. I'm like, yeah, how do you think the one up in Anaheim feels when he's offloading all the stuff, the orders from the warehouse? Like,
Oh,
dude, yeah.
yeah.
Greg and I joke like, so what's next? Wrist straps? Can we
Yeah.
do something, dude? We
Something
do
super
something a
light
little
and
lighter,
efficient.
please.
Oh
Yeah.
man. We
Well,
could do a whole other podcast on the 1,000 mistakes we made along the way. So
Oh,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah,
Seriously.
but I think that's one of the things that makes it this whole story appealing, and I'll kind of wrap it all in this whole thing is that what brought me to it is like when I started talking to you, Frank, about kind of the story behind it. I was like, you know
Yeah.
what, this is cool. Like I want to know more about this, and then kind of reading the story and like finding out about you guys. Like I'm gonna be completely honest. I've never tried a hero barbell. But I was so engaged by the story of what you guys are doing that I'm like, man, I need to check these guys out. We need to
Yeah.
chat and talk and get the story out there and move. So I was moved by the story more so even than the product. And I think,
Yeah.
with the charisma and the, just what you guys are bringing to the table, I think I'm sure that it shows in the product as well. And I'm excited to, get my hands on it at some point. We're
Yeah, I
gonna
know,
go there
right?
and
Yeah,
do
we'll make
that.
that happen. We'll make that happen for you.
When, do
I
you
know a
guys,
guy.
yeah, a guy, do you guys ever go out to like, to do events and things? I know you guys are a sponsor for, I want to get this one right. Which,
Monster, yeah. So Monster Games, we did Monster
yeah,
Games this year as
yes.
the official barbell, and Masters Fitness Championship.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
Because it's not Masters Fitness Collective, right? It's a different.
right. It's
Okay.
they rebranded
Okay.
Masters Fitness Championship.
Wait, same people though.
It
Same
was
people?
the
Yeah,
collective.
same
Okay.
people. Yeah, Masters Fitness Collective. Yep, you got
Gotcha.
it.
I didn't want
You got
to
it.
mess it up and like call out the wrong one, but okay. Master
MFC.
Fitness
I just
Championship.
say MFC. I can't go
Yeah.
wrong with MFC.
I got to actually meet them at the games, not this year, but the year prior. Great,
Nice.
great group of guys there. So,
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
you guys go to these events. So are those the only two events that you guys are involved with at the moment, or are you
No, we
branching out
did.
and doing others?
Dude, we did a bunch of events this year, and it was actually I think that's probably the toughest part for Tony and I is to honestly is to just have to pick and choose which events that we can support because like I said, we're four guys, right?
Yeah.
It's tough to be in one place at once, let alone two or three or four. So the ones that we can't support with a physical presence, we push out and try and support as much as possible with prize purses, barbell giveaways, etc. Just to be a part of these of the competitions that we believe in, that the gym owners that run these competitions gave they gave us a chance, and we're throwing the loyalty right back right back at them too. So let's see, babes and barbells. We did a giveaway and one of the April events. I want to say it was either March or April for girls going RX.
I love them.
That was cool.
I do a lot of work with them. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Right. Lindsay's she's just been phenomenal to work with, and reached out. So it was that was a super easy yes for us. Worked with Barbells and Babes. They actually do a lot of stuff with the Phoenix nonprofit, which we're completely pumped to be able to support that cause as well. We were in Pasadena this year. We did a lot of local competitions as well in the greater San Diego area. Swellmate Showdown, I got to give Outlier Athletics a shout out there. So their owner, Jeremy, was, I want to say, I don't know if he was the first, he was very close. He was definitely in the top 3, but one of the first guys to even buy a Hero barbell once we started selling online. So, so that's super cool. That goes in February every year. We love supporting that, and have, you know, lots more ideas as to the competitions that we want to get out and continue to support. But telling you, the physical presence at as a vendor in Pasadena, and then as a sponsor at Monster Games in Joplin, and at MFC this year up in Indiana, was just, man, it was awesome to be able to, like, you know, put boots on the ground and talk with the athletes and just see the smiles and the success stories, and, oh my gosh, you guys, like, this is so awesome. I love, like, your products. And it's just, I'm telling you, it tugs on your heartstrings a little bit. I did not expect it to affect me as much as it did. And you know, that again, it's that catalyst that just wants you to, it continues to drive you for more. So I really hope we can get more and more of these on the calendar for 2024.
Awesome. Well,
yeah,
I'm going to put it on your radar. Of course, there's a giant competition coming in September to California, Wadapalooza. So
what? Never heard of it.
Never heard of it. Yeah, it's these Miami guys down here. We're coming to California, so we'll be out there in September. I think I might be out there too. So
we may or may not have already penciled it in.
I love it. The
ones in California are super easy, right?
Yeah. Well, guys, hey, thank you so much for, you know, coming on the show and chatting and cutting up. It was great to meet both of you guys and talk about the product. And man, I'm excited. Yeah, I love what you guys are doing. You know, huge support of seeing everything that you're doing. Real quick, tell everybody where they can find you, plug the social, do all that, and let everybody know where they can find you.
Totally. At Free Hero Barbell right now, and then herobarbell.com. Easy. Please take a look and reach out. I'm gonna throw Wex a discount code as well that he can use to plug that in for anybody who wants it. It's too easy. Thanks for taking the time to support. And Wex, honestly, man, thanks for having us on the show.
Thank you, Frank. Are you gonna give him your OnlyFans account too, just in case?
Hey, dude. We're still live. Still live.
Speaking of barbell, no, just hold on.
That's a different podcast, Greg. We're gonna leave it at that.
No, Lex, I appreciate it, man. It was great speaking with you, dude.
Awesome, man. Thanks.